wasn't a lot of preparation from both teams actually in regards to each other. You're not really focusing on that. That's kind of like a loser mentality. Like, oh, we're gonna play Newbee in the lower. But I think Chinese teams inherently, I don't think they really care what you pick. In some ways, it's really good. But I thought eHome was going to be able to do. They'd be like, I don't really care what you're going to pick. We'll execute our strategy at a high level and it'll go well. But sometimes you can see it go badly, where MVP, in both games, they played blistering pace.
Well, we'll get more about picks here in a moment. Looks like we do have a draft, so let's go ahead and not delay things much further and actually hop into the draft to see what kind of valuable pickups are going to be there as we witness Archon versus Newbee in the lower bracket. And one of the big picks that was standing out, and I was even hanging out in the complexity room briefly, and they were anticipating that Team Archon was going to be all in on trying to secure that early Bat Rider. It's something we could be seeing here. Newbee, I think, are not someone who's going to recognize that, and from what I've heard, it's Monkey's best hero. Cap, would you agree with that?
Oh, by far. Monkeys is a bit limited in hero pool, in complete honesty. Like, he's a good friend of mine, but he has a limited hero pool. But Bat Rider is definitely one of those heroes that he feels super comfortable, and when he is really comfortable with his team and with his hero, he can actually shine. So I think that you're absolutely right. Bat Rider is going to be one of those high priority picks for Team Archon. We saw in the series against OG, what OG was doing was first picking Bat Rider in order to keep it out of the hands of Archon. If you're doing something like that, that goes to show like the kind of powerhouse Archon could have if they had the kind of Bat Rider that Monkeys Forever is able to display.
The other big pick, I think, for both these teams is going to be Enchantress. That's becoming one of the key meta heroes of this tournament, and both these teams, even before it was a big popular hero, have played a lot of it. Chuan on the Enchantress in a support role. For Archon, they run it a bit more in the off lane for Moob, but that to me is just going to be almost guaranteed to be first two pick for one of these teams here.
Wouldn't be surprised, Archon, maybe they could be considering the Bat Rider, but then again, it leaves easy counter for Newbee. So do they go for something like a Vengeful Spirit, let's say, to kind of secure that for their own side? What are you thinking here, Couch 2, if you will, as far as where their priority should be? They're obviously thinking pretty hard about it.
I feel like priority goes for laning. I mean, that goes without saying, or rather, we've said it already. So for Newbee, I really like what they did in the second game against, there's that Enchantress indeed, against LGD. And I would really like to see the Beastmaster again coming out for Zatule, because he was able to apply so much pressure just by himself. It's banned out. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Could see it this series.
I really hope that we're going to see that later on, because it has such a big impact. But yeah, that's why it got banned, because it did have a big impact there.
Sven stands ready.
I think Beastmaster probably not high enough in priority to ever be first pick, because Team Archon are really good with the Beastmaster as well, right? So despite the fact that they did have first pick, they chose to ban away the Beastmaster in order to keep it out of Newbee's hands, and figured they didn't want it right away.
This is something special here. Newbee with the first pick, Sven for their team. Is this not kind of like, showing your ace too early here? Or is there something that you can obviously be the counterpart to Sven that Archon might be looking to take advantage of now?
I don't think Sven's a hero that you can instantly say, oh, there's such and such hero, we're going to insta-camp. Yeah, Bat Rider's good, you can lasso pull him into you, but Sven's always going to farm well. He's good in the laning stage. His farming efficiency is almost unparalleled at this point with the way we're seeing most of the Svens go for just the 1 point in Stormbolt, maxing the cleave, and farming ancient stacks. You can even have your offlaner or one of your supports stack those ancients before you get your Helm of the Dominator. So to me, it's just a very safe, secure pick for Newbee. And while it is a farming hero, it's not too greedy, because the hero can come online very early on because of how fast he farms.
I mean, I still think I personally still feel like it's a bit too greedy, because of the way the hero is so dependent on ancient stacking, and that's becoming like more of a consistent factor that teams are identifying how important the ancients is to deal with the Sven, so you counter it out early, and then you also have just like naturally aggressive heroes. You have somewhat of a push coming out with the Enchantress, but you also have the Bat Rider. These are heroes that will naturally be able to take control of the map. I am a bit concerned that Sven's not going to be able to progress too far past that Helmet Dominator into the Blink Dagger and BKB and whatever build he goes from there.
In the previous series that we saw from Team Newbee, they were the team to ban out the Darkseer in all the games, because you don't want RTK to get that hero, of course. But they're actually one of the few teams that also plays it quite a bit for Tule. Is a lane dominator? How do you think that pairs up against Team Archon? Is it gonna be good?
Like, problem with here is there are just too many counters in the lane now. I think it comes online like way too late. You have a hero that inherently is just like a slow build-up. You need to go for, what is it? You go for mech, and then you get a blink dagger, but then first you need soul ring, then you need arcane boots. There's like 50 different heroes that play up a lot faster. Like Beastmaster, you just get level 6 and you go. And that's something that Darkseer inherently misses. It's like almost every other hero in Dota, you just hit level 6 and you can make a move. Faceless Void, you can do the same with. There are a lot of heroes right now that kind of have that meta established. Darkseer, the one thing that he has going for him is you sort of need 3 heroes to deal with him, unless you have an Oracle. It's like if you have an Oracle in the game, you pretty much can't play that hero. The hardest one-to-one counter that you can get. I think the way that I always think about it is priority below. If it beats you, then it kind of sucks. So if an offlaner is countered by a 4 position, then all of that farm priority doesn't really mean too much. And if that's why you'll often see teams last pick or close to last pick their carry, because you don't want to pick a Sven and then get hard countered or anything like that.
In terms of laning stage and coming online, IO Tiny has a very strong lane presence, of course, and comes online just with levels. Perfect laning partners. Perfect pick in a early game pressure game like this is.
And this is something I was talking a bit about with Scamp, where a lot of the teams are running these kind of 2 carry lineups where they have a safe lane carry as well as a mid carry, and neither of them's too greedy. I mean, the Sven a bit more farm intensive with the ancient stack, but they're both ready to fight like 10-15 minutes in if they need to. Tiny, his combo, one of the best ways of dealing and bursting down an enchantress before she can get the heal off, just kind of sustain herself. So this is something we're seeing that became a bit more of a trend. We've seen the PLs go mid, the Juggernauts, like these 2 fighting carry type lineups, and they've been very successful.
This is really smart from Team Archon. Oftentimes, if you have any sort of global capabilities against Tiny Wisp, the Spectre is a pretty natural hero to run against this, because when they go for the attempted relocate, you can just pop the Spectre ultimate and you can be a part of that fight instantly. In a way, Archon can actually set up traps pretty well. Plus, they also have an early fighting hero, which is important with the way that we've seen Spectres adapt into the more phase boots, urn, or drum, or whatever kind of early stat build that they go for. The hero will both be able to fight early and join for these Bat Rider pickoffs and that sort of thing, but also they don't have to have as much of a timer on them, which I think is important actually for Archon, because with the way that they were playing, I can't see them be MVP Phoenix and challenge high ground at 13 minutes, right? That's just like, MVP were playing so cleanly, they could do something like that. Team Archon definitely not. They were playing too sloppy, so they have to give themselves a little bit less pressure, essentially.
Well, speak of the devil, as mentioning, you guys were talking about a bit before, the last grab here for Newbee will be the Darkseer here. And
taking advantage of one of the weak parts of the Archon's lineup, it's their safe lane. They've got a line as a support, pretty weak poor zoning here, and a Spectre who can't really contest or bully out an offlaner as well. So Darkseer is just going to be able to kind of bully this lane to no end, and that's kind of, to me, a pretty big problem for Team Archon right now.
Unless they picked up the Oracle and they just ran Enchantress off lane.
Impossible. They can, but then you're forced to tri-lane versus Darkseer, which means your other 2 lanes could really struggle, because you're forced to commit 3 heroes just to that safe lane. And you've got an IO Tiny who then can win mid, you've got a Sven Witch Doctor who should be able to deal okay with the Enchantress.
Ooh, Undying Enchantress.
Does this kind of raise a flag that Archon could be considering making things a bit more aggressive as far as the laning stage?
I think it's an Undying Enchantress dual offlane, right? And then Lion is bottom babysitting the Spectre. It's almost in a way like you're going to challenge us, we'll challenge you at the same time. You can slow down that Helmet Dominator timing potentially, keep the support up at the top lane. And Undying is also a potential, like, he's just a really strong hero against Tiny Wisp in general.
Yeah, I think overall Newbee is, I think Newbee is looking good, maybe a little bit better, a little bit more prepared, and have something, it might have a bit more stronger game plan than Archon has. I would favor Newbee in this
10 seconds remaining.
game.
Depends on whether or not you can create ancient stack. Part of the issue is this, okay, so you have a Sven, you know what he's gonna do. It's like the most obvious thing in the world. Every team knows about it. If you can block the ancients, you're great. If you can't, you're gonna have a hard time. And it's hard when you have to go through Wisp Tiny.
All right, so real fast, so we can keep tradition alive, is before we throw it to the casters. Couch number 1, what are you thinking? Archon, Newbee?
Newbee, but it's hard.
Newbee. Couch 2 is Newbee.
Couch 2 is Newbee, couch 1?
I have to agree. I think Newbee's got the better overall, well-rounded draft.
So Newbee all around?
I'll hang with Archon.
Hang
I'll
with
be the lone
Archon,
wolf.
coming out from Cap. Sounds great. So let's go ahead and send it on over. It's going to be Toby Wan and Cinderic bringing you the coverage. Gentlemen, take it away.
Thank you very much, Dakota. Yes, it's great to be here. Archon going up against Newbee, and we're already going to start it off with a fight. A full 5-man smoke down. Jo, welcome to the game. And Cap, you're rolling with these boys, but you're rolling with one foot in the grave from the start. Hi, Cinderic.
Hi, yeah, that was not the start they were hoping for with the Spectre. Of course, Jo, more than likely just moving down there, trying to gather information about the enemy team moving in and getting in position to maybe try to snatch the bottom rune with his Spectral Dagger, but surprised, gets run over. A good first blood for Newbee, and obviously a good start for them. This will give them the bottom. Likely he's not interested in. I gotta say, when I look at this draft from Archon, it seems very all-in style. If their early game doesn't work out very well, they're going toward a mid-game where Newbee's teamfight and just overall pressure is incredibly powerful. When you pick both an Enchantress and an Undying like this, they really need to get the job done early and win a lane. So for me, that's definitely the lane to keep an eye on.
This is also the like Archon style. It's a higher risk kind of play.
Absolutely.
So if it does pay off, brilliant. Yeah, you lost the Spectre. That's not terrific, but really, like Jo just gives over the money, gives over the experience, doesn't lose much more than that. Looks like they're actually starting to do a counter ball as they battle for that top camp. Moo, there's just Chuan, as well as Lee, just battling against Moo to make sure he can't have an easy camp and an easy creep grab. Now, Newbee also don't see the Radiant Sentry Ward, so there's still the potential to de-ward that out and get the camp back again.
That Sentry Ward blocking the camp is just so difficult to access. Like, you really need to, I'm not sure how many tangos you need to use for this, maybe 2 to get there.
Can't get either of them too. Like Newbee came up with a second Sentry Ward and they blocked up the other camp too. So Moo currently only has access to potentially a Harpy. And he has to move over to the pull camp of Newbee to actually grab that.
And the problem about this is that, as I mentioned earlier, they're trying to put a lot of pressure up here. It's very good for him that he gets a Stormcrafter here. That's the saving grace for, okay, half a second. But that creep could have actually been really, really good, since it's probably the best creep he can get in the small camp, so got a little lucky there, but good counterplay from Newbee to shut it down. And this lane from Archon is not gonna be very powerful without the Enchantress creep. I mean, they're actually doing a decent job right now, but they're sacrificing farm. They're keeping the supports away, but House just farming under the tower.
Yeah.
Undying has 1 CS, the Sven has 8. That's not what you want out of an aggressive duel lane.
Which is kind of funny when Undying starts off this top lane with like 3 decay hits already like directly onto the Sven. Sven just does not care. Yes, like the Wisp and the Witch Doctor could be just around the corner to help him out, but with its early stage, you've still got the Wisp at bottle. So 2 minutes in, the Wisp has managed to pick up that bottle, and we can switch the lanes up, because while he's been off on a bit of a run, just controlling up that top rune area with the help of Chuan, Moo's getting solo experience in the mid, so you're actually going to get a really quick level combo on this Tiny. Nice thing for him.
I was confused for a second. It's actually Moo playing against Moo. That is pretty confusing, but they are playing on different teams. Yeah, Moo and the Tiny will be getting a good start here, and they have 2 good partners for the Wisp too. It's not just the Sven that it's laning with, but they can obviously just rotate it in toward the mid and put a lot of pressure. I generally like IO lineups where there's more than 1 good tether target. It just gives you more options in your gameplay. Peace Forever, by the way, is an exceptionally good Bat Rider, already showing promise here in the mid lane.
Actually able to add
Absolutely.
able to add enough pressure that you force the Wisp to come down. So Lee, he has to come and do something to help out Moo, which relieves the pressure a little bit more on the top lane. Yeah, Whitebeard still is only sitting at 3 CS. That's not terrific. But I'm looking to this bottom lane Spectre, who having a pretty damn good time up against this Darkseer with a good stun from Fluff. Fluff's just been doing a simple combo. Stun and mana drain. Make sure this Darkseer's got nothing to play with before he reaches this Soul Ring.
He's got it now, though.
Okay, so, well, okay, maybe he hasn't done that, but
these days,
still.
You often see Darkseers get shut down more than this. He's actually level 4 minute 330, but you can't blame Archon for that. I don't think their lane can do much better. Like, they're doing an okay job. I think they could have maybe limited his CS a bit more. He's got 14 CS. Actually, right now, he's under quite a bit of pressure. He's still gonna be fine. It's just the nature of the Darkseer versus Spectre matchup. It's awful for Spectre. The one thing you have is a slow, and you can just surge away from that. And Lion as a support in the beginning, pretty weak. So Tule is taking a lot of advantage of this. Yeah, overall, gotta say the early game is looking the way Newbee was hoping for. If you're even, I mean we're 4 minutes in, very early, but them being even right now means that the dominance that Archon was aiming for hasn't really paid off just.
Monkey's actually, he's currently playing like a 1v3 battle on that top rune area.
Radiant's middle tower is under
It's a risky kind of thing to do. Like last time, in the major at least that I got to cast the Wiztani was in the Alliance game, and that's when we saw a Jara copy getting cliffed on the Roshan pit side actually. So I'm always worried about that toss back that could be coming out of the Batrider. But instead they rotate over. Fluff and stuff, he tries to make his way into the mid lane. He's got the Arcane rune up and running. The downside for him is there's an observer ward that saw his movement in. Now he's sitting just on the side of the range of it at the moment, and he's feeling like vision superiority is his. So they've got the observer ward sitting on the bottom part of that river area. But it's not to be the case, and he won't find an opening. Tiny just bags up and plays a little bit more defensive for now.
Gonna go and stack a camp here, pairing Batrider to accelerate his Blink Dagger pickup. Hopefully for Archon, Monkeys can play a big role here in the 10-minute stage of the game, I guess you could say. He needs to...
Oh, big trouble off the top lane. Fu being initiated on with that Stormbolt, but Untouchable makes life very, very difficult. Not to mention the Tombstone that's down. As Whitebeard tries to get more aggressive. They're not with a lot of life, and they keep trying to go for these big K hits. The rotations come in from Fluff. The stun is not enough control against Hao. He's already used the War Cry, and with Lee coming over, they just tether up, bottle each other in. And the regeneration's there, but it's the middle lane where Monkeys Forever dives underneath the tier 1 tower to get a solo kill over on the Tiny.
That was without even using Lasso too, and now Undying finds Io. This is some good stuff here from Archon, who didn't really accomplish as much as they were hoping early, but might be making up for it now. They've also got Haunt available, by the way. Jair level 6 could get involved if he wants to. Is that an Urn flying out for him? Not, it's an Aquila. This is a pretty rare build nowadays on Spectre. Most players seem to be favoring the phase into drum, or phase Urn drum build, rather. It's kind of the standard way to go right now.
Does this maybe, like, is this just a message saying maybe he's looking more at like a Radiance kind of build, like you just go directly into that and not this early game fighting? Play for the late game as opposed to this early involvement?
I mean, it could be. I'm just not sure how good this item is when you're laning against the Darkseer. He doesn't have any regen. You could say the same for Urn, but if you get involved and get some Urn charges, at least you can sustain with that and involved around the map. But this item build he has right now is not very good for haunting either.
Jay needs help. Jay needs a lot of help. Actually, no, he doesn't. He's going to dagger through the tree line.
Just kidding.
Newbee can't chase. And Jo, he's actually going to TP himself all the way back to base.
Haunt available, could come back. But his team is not in any sort of position to defend this tower.
But even then, do they want to? Like, they're not really in the point where they want to fight. Monkeys Forever is getting very close to that Blink Dagger. He's just hit 2k mark. So he doesn't want to do it. So maybe Newbee, like, they've hit the perfect time. They understand that Archon don't really want to get involved in an engagement yet. They want to be the ones being the initiators in 100 gold for the Blink Dagger on the Batrider. Archon may have no choice. Whitebeard's rotated down, so is Fluff. That tower's going to get tossed down, but here comes that Spectral Wand. He's chasing after Lee. Can he get close enough? Tombstone's down, but the Darkseer wall. Nah, the damage is way too much coming out there from Jo. They're able to find one. Now moving over towards that Darkseer. He's drained out of mana, but okay, there's not enough return damage from Newbee to find anything until Monkey comes in and gets the last through off. The Flame Break perfectly set up for it. Moo will die in the bottom lane. So Newbee, you take the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane, but really, at what cost?
At a low enough cost for that to probably be worth it. The Radiant tier 1 tower bottom is really, really important for map control. And it opens up the jungle. It will probably make it easier for Darkseer to maximize his farm by just going in there and pushing out the lane and then taking those camps on the side. So getting 1 or 2 kills is okay. The thing I'm more concerned about for Newbee is that their supports are really not getting that many levels. They're level 3 and 4. On Archon, they're 4 and 5, and Undying is actually already closing in on that level 6. So these extra kills give them the edge on experience as far as that goes, and I think relocate in this game is actually going to be really, really important. Oh, there's the Urn for Spectre. So he just went
Aquila first.
Oh, am I missing something here? Am I remembering it wrong? I just feel every Spectre I see just goes phase Urn, you know?
No, you're remembering correctly, Syndrome.
Alright, well.
Also, interesting little pop-up is you're talking about the supports of Newbee. The fact that Sean's gone for this early kind of kill build, like the 202 build, the higher levels up in Malediction. this Witch Doctor. Really wants to get involved. Moo again, like, okay, you rotate down the bottom lane. That one didn't go too well for you. Now you try and battle into the Enchantress. You use your magical burst damage to find the kill. Yep. Only just, though.
Tiny is such a good hero against Enchantress. Like, it's got to be up there as one of the absolute best picks if you have a good game. Like, what makes Enchantress good in the early portions of the game is, of course, the creep control is number one. But apart from that, Untouchable makes it very hard to kill you. Tiny combos you. The hero has, like, no health. You see Moo is getting treads and a bracer because he's anticipating that he will just be burst down. And even with that right then, he still died, and this is a Tiny who's level 6. When he hits level 9, he will vanish.
We've got Fluff and Monkeys going for a bit of a fight. They've got an Observer Ward up, but it doesn't see far enough over. So Hao is very much aware that Archon is moving a lot of resources up to this northern lane. They're also got an Observer Ward sitting closer towards the lane. So it's the choice now. Does NewBee want to try and fight? The mech is about 100 gold away from too late.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I'll take that.
So maybe this isn't the greatest time for him. Like, it's almost worth conceding the top lane just to get like damage onto the tier 2 tower and bottom. Or you can just let Hao trigger his God Strength and attack into the tier 1 and mid. Both teams have fortifications, they'll both slow each other up just as much.
Yeah, I think the ideal thing for NewBee right now is to gank Spectre. If they get an opportunity to do that and then pressure the tower, they know that they're not outnumbered. If they try to defend top, Haunt is obviously available. Bad Rider can TP up there with a Blink Dagger, reinforcing really early. So I agree with NewBee just not giving this tower away. And I think for Archon, this is taking really long.
Yeah.
You're gathering so much information as NewBee about this. Sure, you're losing a tower, but you get essentially 1.5 minutes of free farm and you can start planning your next move because you know the positioning of 3 Archon heroes.
You also took the stack inside the Archon jungle. This pushed Chuan up to level 6 now. So NewBee actually have Death Ward available on their Witch Doctor.
Doctors are so fun.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
But like, how are they ever really going to stop that? It's a Spectre. He's got no influence of this.
Yeah, it was a nice last pick, identifying that it was a good Darkseer game. It's a hero that I think is sometimes a little bit forgotten. There are just some heroes that, or at least one support that just breaks this hero in lane, which is Oracle, but it's not very favored right now. You can ban it, or you just pick Darkseer so late in your draft that the enemy team can't really go for, you know, a third support, essentially. I do think they last picked Undying though, so I'm not sure if Oracle was indeed banned by NewBee at some point in the draft, else it could have been a choice, perhaps? I would have definitely secured their Spectre, but obviously it has implications on other lanes.
I actually want to look a little bit more towards Hao right now, towards this event. So he gets the treads, he's got the Helm of the Dominator, it's all looking like it's on like decent timing for this event, so you haven't delayed his progression, which was like one of the primary problems like appearing with this event as this safe laner. Like, you'll definitely reach his target eventually, but how much damage you take in the meantime? What kind of build do we want to see transitioning here for Hao? Do you go for the early Blink Dagger? Do you try and get involved in these fights and allow him to be the initiator? Or is this one of those BKB style games?
I think just the standard farming build into Sangen Yasha now is pretty good, and then you let Tiny get the blink, so he's the initiator. He is better initiator of the two in the sense that if you look at the Radiant heroes, they're all so fragile that Moo can almost kill them on his own, and then Sven follows through afterwards together with Wisp. That's probably what I would do.
Well, Archon's gonna fight top. They're waiting for the TPs to come. Hao's God Strength still got a little bit longer left on it. But Fluffer Stuff is going to get the hex over on the Tiny. Now Spectral Horn kicks in, and which is their primary target? They're going after Moo. He's the closest target of them all, and there is no real way he can survive this. Do as much damage as he can in the meantime. This stopped Archon from taking that tier 1 tower in mid. It already looked a little rough for them attempting that. But now it's 5-2 on the board, and NewBee is getting picked up a couple of times, and Chuan's going to be no different. The Flame Break cancelling that Death Ward. Even with the Malediction, he doesn't really have much of a chance. The Meg charge as well as the Surge, but Moo rotates over. With that Enchantress on the field, Surge isn't an escape mechanism anymore. In fact, it's more dangerous. And Fluffer Stuff, he's in danger. He's looking for the stun over on Hao. He doesn't have Hex, he doesn't actually have the stun. All he's got is his mana drain. But what he does have is friends. The rest of Archon's rotating very aggressively into that dire jungle.
Nice fog play there from Fluff. He kited the Sven for a good 5 to 10 seconds around the tree line, and then Sven has to give up because the rest of his team is rotating over. So, play, Archon still looking pretty good. I think the trades here overall, NewBee are, I think, content with giving a kill or two to defend a tower and claim a tower. I still think the map control game is more important, Because when you're playing this kind of lineup where you have relocate, you have good team fight with the Darkseer, you just want to be able to push out lanes. Then you can always look for the fights on your terms. Whereas Archon's is way more skirmish oriented. They want to catch with Batrider, they want to catch with the Enchantress Creep here in the early game, or gank with the Lion, but they don't have any sort of like very good combo as such. So Newbee's 5-man later should be good enough to get these huge kills there behind.
I'm actually interested to see just how well it goes later, because like if you get something like a Manta and Diffuser build coming out from someone like a Spectre, the Witch Doctor and the Wisp are going to have a very difficult time staying alive when Spectre just does that. Now Moo, okay, relocate save, yep, Moo's going to be dragged out. Those monkeys, he arrived very closely. He could have potentially stopped Tether out, but they went to the mid lane, and they're going after Moo. Flock draining out what he can. There's 2 seconds till that relocate kicks back, but then in comes Jo, just Spectral horning himself forward. The Darkseer trying to search himself away. Have they got enough? Yep, they do. Fingered down the Wisp, and the Darkseer as Sean dives back underneath that tier 1 tower. The Impediment making life difficult, but actually more difficult is the Death Ward with the paralyzing cast from Sean. He gets the revenge kill, and they just keep going. Jo.'s so deep underneath that tower. He's going to survive through all of this. Now Hal comes in looking for the revenge. The Batrider in trouble, but he gets up the hillside and away. He's keeping very, very close. There's more support around the corner, but Whitebeard, I know he's not going to come in close. Monkey scouts out the fact there's a huge Ancient stack as well. So he's going to stay close on this one so he can at least leech the experience. He can blink down in 2 seconds time, just staying out of range of the Wisp balls. Okay, now they're gonna blink down.
I'm not sure what's going on with Newbee right now. That Sven TP was so late. Like, he showed up a good 10 seconds late, so he probably didn't have one.
Are they gonna contest?
And Sven doesn't have a TP there. It's just too difficult for them to fight.
Oh, paralyzing cast again with his malediction. Sean's doing so much work. Fluffman stuff's dead. Derine's Whitebeard as well. Put inside that Darkseer wall, back into it for a bit. He's going earn charge down and then tossed up. Tombstone's gone, and this is Archon attempting almost a half attempt to stop Newbee from taking out the Ancient stack, and yeah, now they relocate after Moo, chasing it towards that mid lane. You've got the Spectre nearby, but what's he really going to do? Slow down Moo with a Spectral Dagger? Yeah, he doesn't care about that. In fact, they come in range to allow the Paralyzing Cask to bounce once again.
Thanks, Jo. It basically did more harm than good. I'm pretty sure Moo is dead anyway, but that was not the way to make that play, that's for sure.
So Newbee, not only do they protect their Ancient stack, which now they can go over and finish, but the thing is they probably don't understand fully the reason why Archon sees everything. Like, they dropped down their sentry ward, but they didn't see the Radiant Observer ward up next to the secret shop. They still get what they wanted. Get a whole bunch of kills, they take out the Ancient stack. That mech from Darkseer also did such work early on.
Yeah, absolutely. The mech advantage is playing a very big role. I'm guessing the Undying is going to get one for Archon, but it's still about 1,000 gold away, so this will take some time. And you're just looking at these two lineups and you're thinking efficiency. Let's say nothing happens for a while. I think Newbee are just going to flat out out-farm them. They have a Sven with a farming build, they have a Wisp, and they have a Darkseer just pushing out waves, so... The longer and longer it goes, the more farm they're going to get, and I just don't know if Spectre has accomplished enough. Jo has been playing a good game, I think. He's 3-1-4, he has 80 CS, minute 17 on Spectre. That's expectable pretty much for the lane he had. He is going for a Radiance by the looks of it, by the way, with the amount of money he's racked up, like we talked about earlier.
Unless he dies again, which is another possibility. Cal went for the Yasha, and with the War Cry, they have the movement speed. He makes it to the tree line. He doesn't have Spectral Dagger, but then he also relocate in. This is some serious hate coming towards the Spectre.
And there's just so many ways they can do this, right? Like this, that's the problem with Spectre. You want to play alone and have the other 4 set up a 5 fuse you can win, but he's not safe.
There's a Newbee Dire Observer Ward that saw everything. Sean should at least be a casualty of war here. You've already used your Flame Break. Now Hal turns to the standard back, and then, well, of course, he didn't get the 3-man stun. They push forward with the Firefly. Sean, he's burning up until the Firefly runs down. There's still going to be the kill, and Moo can't run out of here. Another Finger of Death from Flock trying to short the kill so they can move on to their next target. Still they're being pushed back, but Whitebeard, there's no Tombstone available. Monkeys is low on life. His 4-staff is actually on cooldown, so is his Blink Dagger, so he's not in the greatest position ever. Now he'll get away.
Still a good play from Archon, identifying that they were ahead in that fight and could very easily pursue those kills.
Creates a lot of space as well. Jo instantly goes to the top lane for all of the CS that's up there.
Here. I guess if he just gets to farm, this is probably like a 23-24 minute Radiance, which isn't half bad. But he's just so abusable right now. 1100 health, any stun setup into relocate with the Tiny or the Sven is just a kill. And Archon just stand behind him and protect him, they lose the farming game. If they split up, they risk their Spectre getting ganked. So they need to constantly have good vision out on the map. But guess what? They don't have a single ward out. There are 3 dire wards. They have really good map control right now. And as expected and mentioned, this Darkseer is just going to keep shoving the bottom lane in. This is one of the best aspects of this hero, is that you just constantly get information.
It's like, how does Archon even stop this? You want to send a Chen army forward, they just melt underneath the Iron Shells. Or like Darkseer then, like, helps it out with a little bit of a back.
Very easy push. They know where the Enchantress is, and I think so far, if you look at this game, the majority of the damage output from Archon is actually coming from the Enchantress. She's dealing a lot of damage with these impetuses in the fight. I'm guessing this Ogre Club, there are 2 ways of go here for Moo. The most common one right now would be going into the Dragonlance, just getting that attack range, which I think he will. But a case could be made for getting a BKB so they can at least guarantee his damage. And I think regardless, he will get that over and Axe this game after the Lance.
Yeah.
Lance needs to be safe.
Lance just seems to be so much more efficient as well.
Yeah, it's a great purchase this year. It's like the best hero in the game to get the item on. I remember when the patch came out, my first pub game, I was like, okay, this is cool. All the creeps are buffed, Dragonlance gives range, I'm gonna play Enchantress. And nobody had an idea what they were doing in the new patch, right? I had so much fun that game. I was laughing my ass off the whole game, just doing stuff, and I was like, wow, this is imbalanced. Wow, this is imbalanced. This is imbalanced. Pretty good hero, and well, looks like that intuition is still holding true. It's been a really top pick in this tournament so far.
Yeah, we were actually looking through the compendium predictions, and Enchantress, I believe, is actually in the top 3 picks of the competition so far. Next to the Lion, who actually had like the highest win rate, also according to that. Oh, bluff, that was not going to last very, very long. But if they get the kill on Moo, it may not even matter. It's going to have to wait for someone to reveal themselves, as Moo is moving a little bit further forward. They use Jo as a little bit of bait. They don't see up high enough. So Moo hasn't revealed himself, and again this IO is being put into a position where it's the relocate save out. So even if Archon do initiate, it's the classic counter to a Bat Rider. You just relocate save out, doesn't have to be too far, it's a small little jump, but it's enough to sever the lasso.
Yeah, and there is pretty much no way for Archon to prevent. Well, this is actually a very smart way of doing it when you think about it. Oh.
Until he TP's out. Yeah, now Moo is going to toss him, and no, Jayo's got no way out. It was smart until that.
Good. Bad news. I actually thought Jayo was setting up to flank on the Wisp together with his team moving in. But he ends up just trying to TP out and getting killed, and he can't afford to buy back. Like, even if they get a good fight for it, just they just need to sack this tower if it's what it takes. Spectre buying back and getting 1 or 2 assists doesn't pay for the buyback.
Newbee's is so good. Chuan's going to get picked up. The Observer Ward, which is up on the hillside, allow them to see Chuan coming in, and now he's stuck. He's in the Firefly and being basically beaten down by the undead minions. So Newbee's push, like, they've got so much money behind them. You gotta feel like you can go for a lot of this. They're sticking around because
that's gonna hurt.
Oh, yeah, Lee came back for the back. It was the combo in the avalanche. Newbee kept alive thanks to that big soul rift that kicked in. And with a spectral haunt, they come back to front lines. Whitebeard losing too much life. He couldn't get his secondary soul rift off. But Monkeys, he actually missed the flame break. How's able to TP out? But they need something else. Moo's the primary target. Spectral Dagger now comes back off cooldown. You just napalm him up and slow Moo up as much as they possibly can. Jayo's going to go over the cliffside for it. The flame break, okay. The surge is available there from the Darkseer to allow the easy escape out.
The more I see this play out, the better this Darkseer pick is for me. It's just very, very good. You have Surge against the Hex of Lion to create space and get away. It's against the Napalm of the Bat Rider. And all of the other things we've mentioned so far, he's been doing a very good job here, Tule, on the DS. Curious what his next item is going to be. He went for the Blink Dagger, didn't rush the Greaves. I think this is the most common build. You get Arcanes after Mech, and then you get Blink, and then most of the times you get Arcanes or a Pipe for the team, sometimes Shiva's Guard. Game, I think Pipe is actually pretty decent for their team, but on the other hand, they have 2 cores that naturally want to get BKBs at some point, then you have immunity anyway, so. Or the Greaves into Shivas would be a solid choice.
Oh, on the back of Venegas, the Immortal as well, they're ready to go. Just fired it up. And Archon's gonna be ready for this. Like, the Spectre still doesn't have the Radiance, and you've just picked up the Relic over on Jayo. So he needs the money to actually pick up pick up the recipe, pick up the radiance, at least stops Moo from just, like, blinking himself into any engagement that he wants to, as well as controlling Hal. Obviously, it's the same kind of thing. Both heroes blink daggers, their Spectral Horn comes off to start with. Archon being the initiators because off the back of that, then Newbee may not be feeling like they're in the greatest position to take a fight. And then you've also got Paralyzing Cask, this relocate, Dark Seer Surge. All these things are just working so well for Noob. Even if they do get that jump and disable the blink daggers, it may not have any effect.
Going on the IO. He is getting the pipe on the IO, actually. At the moment I was worried he was getting a second mech that already had for ages on the DS, but...
White
Beard's in a real good position.
Yeah. You actually wonder how the hell you get yourself into that position. But Monkey's going to try and capitalize on the Tombstone's still down, and Newbee don't want to be fighting into this one. It's up on the hillside, so difficult to reach to, but they just relocated the Tunny, and then your back wall, a huge one on the floor. Ellie, he's moving himself forward. Maybe they can catch up to the Enchantress. She'll be healing herself up quite nicely. So it's the Batrider buyback trying to come back into this engagement. The Tombstone has managed to be mopped up, but it's this run from Moo. It's impossible to hit because the 4 points are untouchable, but Moo, he's able to finish the job onto Moo by actually just attacking him with his 4-4 combo. Flufferstuff's also on the run now from Chuan as well as the IO. Doesn't run far and gives over the gem with that death. The one that I was actually purchased up by the Batrider of all people.
That is such a big loss for Archon. They lose 4 for 1, they buy back, and they lose a gem. That's like a 3k net worth swing, at least. I'm not sure if the teamfight recap takes the gem into account. I think it doesn't, because just the gold swing, right? But swinging over a gem is an 1800 change.
You look at the overall advantage, you're already looking about 8.5 to 9k swinging the way of Newbee, and that graph hasn't stopped dropping yet. Newbee's in such a commanding position, even though the kill count is 15 to 13 in favor of Team Archon. You just see the net worth, and it's very red top heavy.
And most of the time, when you pick a Spectre, you feel like you're set for late game. Like, that hero is considered one of the best late gamers available, but you're
not going to make late game.
You're sitting with that feeling that you're, first of all, probably not going to get very far at the state of the game right now, and even if they do, NewBee actually have decent solutions. You can get a wall illusion that has the Radiance. Obviously have Sven, who is an incredible hard hitter. That's the way you kill Spectre late game. You need single target damage in spades, which kind of have. And the rest of Archon's heroes just don't scale well. It's only really Enchantress out of the other heroes that goes very well into late game. Batrider, great initiator the whole game, sets up fights, that's great. But who's killing the target?
That's the point. Like, it's got to be the initiator, right? So if it's not the Batrider, you need that Blink Dagger to come up on the line. Flufferstuff needs another like 1,000 gold for that one. It's like Whitebeard's just preparing for the full high ground defense. Build the Aghanim Scepter over on the Undying and just start ripping the life out of Newbie souls.
I actually like that choice a lot, that he to go for that over the mech, to be honest, because they need that damage. And he's playing against a lineup with 3 strength heroes that he can steal strength from, so they obviously lose some damage on their Sven from that and on the Tiny, and everything adds up over the course of a long team fight. I think if Archon end up turning this game, it's because of an incredible team fight from the Undying when he has Axe. There's like no other really... It's like very difficult to see how else it would happen right now.
We only have like a minute and 10 seconds left on this Aegis the Immortal. They really want to try and achieve something with it. Forcing a fight into the tier 1 tower makes the most amount of sense, especially when the tower's only on 201 life. Very quick and easy tower for Newbee to mop up. There is fortification from Archon so they can slow the attack, but wow, Moo, that's very, very deep. It'll be followed by the Dark Seer. The Sun's going to be there. Even if you get his combo off, you've just got Moo on this high ground. No, the mech, they have enough life. Actually tossing Whitebeard back over. The gem is being dropped down, and maybe Newbee just went a little bit too deep. Sean as well can't get back past the tower. The gem will be returned, even if the Batrider is tossed like a salad. They just try and keep going further. How slowed down so much that Radiance burn. They just chase up after him. The Spectral Dagger will actually miss onto Hal as the relocate from Wisp. It comes in. Where is the save going to come though? You've got the Enchantress hot on the towers. They just keep running, looking for more damage, but the Enchantress isn't dealing enough. Moo will jump over as well, and there's your relocate save out. Is there enough time to TP out? You don't get the line in time, so there is no disable. The TP out is successful, and that fight, it started at the tier 1 tower, dove to the Radiant tier 2 tower, and ended up at the bottom lane side shop. It just stretched so far for so long.
That's like the ideal fight for Archon. They NewBee engaged way too deep. They go on the Undying that they don't kill. He drops his tombstone, heals the tombstone, and the entirety of Sven's BKB charge is actually used destroying a tombstone. That just gives so much time for Mu to just... I think he got off maybe 15 attacks that fight, maybe 20. That hurts a lot, and I guess the good news for NewBee was that they didn't lose the Aegis in the process, so they can try to fight again with an advantage still.
Well, let me get the Aegis times out in like 5 seconds. 10 seconds.
Oh, really?
Yep. So I said like they're trying to force something before.
That's not very good.
Nope. They actually kind of wanted the Tiny
farming if
they wanted the Tiny to die, and he actually didn't die. Like they were denied that. The reason is the over-aggression.
If you really want to die against a Spectre with Radiance and a Bat Rider with Firefly, you most of the time can manage. You just need to literally stand in the fire and just burn it.
Well, that's what he kind of did. Comes so far.
I'm not.
The problem was the rest of NewBee came with him, but they didn't have an immortal life, and Archon chose their targets very wisely. Knew there was no reason to kill off the Tiny. Focus on everything else. So what do we got? We got a VIP booster coming in from Jo. So it looks like he's gonna go, like, is this just gonna be a casual VIP booster, or is it worthwhile building the heart? Because I know, well, you said previously, I think we actually had a Spectre game the other day, and you were like, Butterfly is actually really good against a hero like a Tiny.
I'm not sure if that was me. I can't remember the game, but regardless, I think probably you either go Heart or you keep this as a casual VIP booster and then you go Manta Diffusal. Diffusal is really good against Darkseer.
Yeah.
It obviously counters out the Surge so that you can lock the targets down and play that way. But you might need to be a little more ambitious with your items right now. Just getting a Diffusal now might be too weak, so either you take the tank route or you take the damage route. And obviously, the reason Manta deals so much damage on Spectre is that the Desolate works full damage on the illusions, so isolating a target kills it off very quickly.
That's why I was wondering, like, if you would bypass the Radiance to go for that Spectre Manta, just rip apart the Witch Doctor and the IO.
Yeah, the downside with the Manta is that NewBee have really good ways of killing illusions, so you need to be very, very cautious with your positioning. They die in like 2 hits from a Sven Cleave, or Tiny can just Avatar combo the Spectre and the 2 healers are gone as well. So, play around with the fight pretty well, and like you said, find the backline. Get in on the Spectre, or sorry, get in on the IO, get in on the Witch Doctor early as you can.
Preparing themselves for a top fight, so is Archon. Archon was scouted out though, they went right underneath the Dire Observer Ward, so I was just checking to see where that gem was. It's actually been grabbed by NewBee and sitting back on the courier inside their base. They're not running the risk of losing it again, but Monkeys jumps in. How? He still gets the leash onto him, and Jo instantly comes in for the relocate save out. You know it's coming.
That is a 5-man rotation for a tower deny and killing off the wall.
You know, the funny thing is, it's kind of okay because he didn't get caught out by the full movement of NewBee on the top lane. Yeah. They were looking to punish Archon up there.
That is true. At least avoided that part, and who got the kill on that? That went to Dying.
He's already got the Ags.
Yeah, he's got the Ags. I'm wondering what he goes next. Probably not that bad of a Ghost Scepter game. Very good against Witch Doctor and the Sven. You can also try to get some auras for the team. Plaids wouldn't be half bad for them. Cuirass might be too ambitious, not sure.
Does he move the cloak into anything?
Shiva's is good on that hero as well.
She just leave this as a casual cloak?
I don't think they will benefit enough from a pipe at the point that he's going to get it. It'll be like a 40-minute pipe at this rate.
Get the hell out of here, Fluff. He's just got scouted by the creep wave as well. I think he knows he's dead. Bought a Blink Dagger. He does not have a TP scroll. Tron's gonna come. No, he's dead. He's dead. There is no survival from this. But he, at least, like, that's the Blink Dagger that we were talking about that Archon really required. They need to keep these initiations going, so Jo can just slip in, be involved, get a couple of kills, get a couple of assists, just go to town. Right now, this Ven is still like 6,000 net worth in front. They're going to go for a relocate. They're headed in towards the middle lane, chasing after Mu. The 4-star force from Monkey. The Flame Break as well, trying to buy some space, but how? Just too quickly. He's also got that crit on his back.
Has put a little bit too far, so it didn't clip quite here. The Axe is so good.
Yeah, he's up to 2k life. They're going to go for another decay as well. This is when NewBee's going to be very, very careful. It might be deceptive just how much life they're losing here. And Jo is looking for another initiation. Moving forward, that impetus damage from Mu, it's just ripping through the darks here, and you can see, okay, Jo is moving on. He thought he could find himself a new target, and they're going to. Flush, TP, blink forward. They find Chorn out of position. Those
The
two
Haunt as
extra
well.
kills, she are going to catch up to him, but no, the tether forward, but Jayo's already there. A nice drop bomb will give them the space, but again, this movement from Moo, he's always at the right place at the right time, thanks to the Blink Dagger, not to mention the incredible range on the Enchantress. He had to buy it back to be involved in the fight though, that's the downside.
Still think you gotta take that fight.
Radiant's bottom tower
That was like
is
the
under
biggest
attack.
opening they could find in a very long time, and it's gonna actually buy them quite a bit of time here. Sven, of course, does survive, so he's still looking very good on net worth here, sitting at 18,000 at this point. We're cleaning up another ancient camp here, but is making progress. The Yasha is picked up. It is going to be a Manta style build here for Jo. I think it's a pretty good choice. It was between that and a heart for me, probably in this case. Prioritizing the damage seems like a necessity. Yes, they won that fight, but as you pointed out, the buyback. If they fight that fight 4-on-5, they can't win.
Yeah.
They absolutely need it to buy back the move.
They need Spectre to be a complete boss. Like, remove this damn effect, the Wisp relocate, allow Monkeys Forever to do his work. And I'm actually interested to see now, like, so what do you even want up from this? Is this a Lotus Orb style, like, is it Ether Lens play? Yeah, it's an Ether Lens build. Coming in from the Batrider.
Such a good third item on the hero. You generally want to go Blink Force first, and then Ether Lens is just a great pickup. Range keeps you a lot safer, increases the range, Blink Dagger, and a Force Staff, so just pull them that further away. The extra bit of damage is also not half bad. Batrider obviously has some decent spell damage over. And I'm imagining his next item has got to be a King Bar. The best choice against Newbee's lineup late game for multiple of their heroes. I still think the Enchantress should be going for it. He actually went for a Ghost Setter, so Moo is buying a lot of smaller items. He went Blink, he went Ghost Scepter, and that Dragon Lance. It's time for something bigger.
Something big, the Aghanim Scepter got completed over on the Tiny. Full Daedalus on the Sven. Oh, Newbee took one on, it happened. And all Hal really gave up with his Helm of the Dominator for an Immortal. So they got so much damage, 600 crits.
Radiant's
from
middle
Hal.
tower is under attack.
And Archon just can't fight this. They actually have to let the tier 2 tower go, fight from inside their base. You got to watch these buybacks pretty damn closely, because right now there's only one available, and it belongs to the Spectre. And it looks like Newbee are not going to force the issue. They're just backing up to control the top lane, take out that remaining outer tower of Archons.
Curious to see when it comes to breaking base how Newbee are going to approach it. If they want to send the Sven as the siege vehicle, I'm guessing they do because he has the Aegis. They obviously are reaching a point now where they could use Tiny to do it as well and just overcharge him. He doesn't have the greatest attack speed right now. Looks like he is building a Manta style, so is helping his attack speed quite a bit with that Yasha.
I'd be a little concerned. Like, obviously you're going to have Tether relocate out to help you with this kind of situation. But like, if Hal becomes that tank, you just like blink, lasso, and then force stuff. And drag back that Sven almost to the tier 4 towers.
Relocate has or Tether has a really long cast range. Though.
Yeah, like you'd almost need to have like double 4-star to get him in that deep, but
you do.
There's another one coming up and I'm dying.
Yeah, true. That might actually be the reasoning. It's always a good item. I think it's very rare that you can make haste that Force is a bad pickup.
Monkey's outrunning the haste-ruined Witch Doctor. And they're already attacking the top lane, so move starts. There's your relocate. Okay. Try to add enough pressure onto that top lane, but that Wisp is coming back. And you can see the Darkseer trying to help him out. He can't do it.
Oh, wait,
he brings back his Sven! Oh my! What got destroyed with the back wall? They caught out 3 heroes. It's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade-off to Swipebeard. He gets brought down by Hal. You can start that Death Ward now for the Flame Break, and it kills them pretty quickly, but not quick enough. Monkeys Forever also having his life forfeit. Spectral Haunt not doing enough work, and Newbee now, all they lost was the Wisp. The Aegis the Immortal is still intact. And they're coming in.
I really don't think Archon were expecting Sven to come back. It didn't look like that was their read on the situation at all. They thought, oh, we're getting a free kill on the Wisp. So they started placing themselves in a way that actually allowed Newbee to just bring the Sven back and take them by surprise. Play that's definitely going to result in 1 lane, if not 2 lanes of racks here. And the game seems to be unfolding as it was pretty much set up to be after the first 15 minutes.
So you gotta be careful. They do have a lot of regeneration, but he's basically out of mana. But they're TPing out anyway. Give a little bit more respect to Archon and not fight it. Not with Archon being like fully up in 11 seconds now.
Well, let's see, what's new on the field? BKB on Darkseer, Witch Doctor almost has eggs, Sven has 5k gold in the bank, Probably looking at either an Assault Cuirass or maybe a Satanic with his Helm of the Dawn. There's the Manta for Spectre, that's at least something for Archon, but it seems like it's too little too late. And it makes you wonder if this Radiance Rush was actually the choice, because I feel like there's a disconnect in their strategy. They play this like early pressure, they draft a lineup that is supposed to really just dominate early game. Enchantress, Undying, and Bad Rider are all early game, early mid game dominators. And then it's great to secure your late game, but you need to be able to bring in your carry and do more.
Yep.
And I don't think Urn is enough for that. It's probably either the Urn Drum that we often see or Urn Yasha to straight Manta, so they could have fought earlier. Because yeah, cool, now you've got a Manta Radiance, but it's very late.
They haven't even observed what there. In comes your relocate. The stun instantly just locking up the IO, but it doesn't stop the Sven. He just blinks himself forward. Almost 3 hits down the Enchantress. Thanks to Ghost Scepter, he'll be protected. But Moo being through Monkeys forever on that bottom lane as well, so he's going to go down. 2 heroes being picked off. Your special haunt will kick in. And well, who do you really go on right now? Vector, actually nice. Manta dodges the Storm Bomb with a double stun coming in from Fluff. You thought the advantage, but then all of a sudden the Darkseer kicks back into play with a wonderful back. They're going to surge forward this Ven, but the Bulls have already picked off the Lion. Headless damage hits into Hal, but it's hitting like kittens right now. NewBee can just force the issue straight through the mid. The Aegis Immortal has gone. Maybe enough that NewBee just wants to back out.
They just claimed themselves another big victory right now.
Are you trying to be bait? He got a very long way. And how, like, he could have potentially turned him for a Storm Bolt.
Yeah, it's actually surprising they don't try. They're 4 on 2, and they should know at this point that Archon don't have buybacks, because then else they would have probably bought back in 4. Right there. Again, playing it a bit safe here. NewBee don't want to throw the game away, understandably. It's a very important game for them. Keeping their chances at a winner bracket alive still. Lead is like insurmountable almost now. 25k.
If NewBee ends up losing this one, then
high ground.
Like, if Archon have some way of bringing this game back and taking this away from NewBee, this is going to cripple them for the rest of this best of series mentally. Archon, all they can do is just hold on. Believe in the power of Spectre is probably going to be their best play. Hope their initiations actually pay off.
It's their only play.
Yeah, and the initiations have to buy the space. That's the only way that Archon get themselves back into this.
Given enough time. Oh, that's another piece of bad news. That's just even more fuel to the fire. There's another Aghanim Scepter now on Doctor, who's by the way level 16. But even if you manage to catch those cores, like the Sven or Tiny now, if Witch Doctor's in a good position, he can kill off almost their entire team. The Witch Doctor ward, obviously, not affected by Untouchable.
It's almost worthwhile for the Spectre to, well, even for most of Archon, to isolate out these support heroes first. Tiny and the Sven are at a point where they're completely unstoppable. Like, these guys are so damn big. It's like, there is no real way to fight up against the guys. All you can do is pick up forts and then try and kite them. That would be it.
What, killing the Sven?
He's basically the Satanic.
22 armor, 22 armor, 3100 health. Satanic, a Wisp tethering him up. And Darkseer with Greaves.
And he consumed a Moonshot as well.
Yeah, he ate a Moonshot too, so very high attack. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, you know, Archon have spread damage. Their only really heavy single target is the Enchantress, but you saw in the last fight how quickly she dies to Sven Jumper.
Yep.
Can actually just 3-hit her, and that was Sven alone. If there's a tiny combo, she's dead. If there's like an Ion Shell, maybe it could have even been enough.
It's interesting to note too that Moo actually sacrificed his buyback on that Enchantress. To buy up the Staff of Wizardry, which he can't hold on to. He's short of buyback by 530 gold.
Yeah, that's actually really strange.
He just keeps buying. He needs another 900 gold to finish up the Aghanim Scepter, or maybe he's just like, if I don't have my Ags, we don't win the game.
I think even if he does have the Ags, they also don't win the game. But you know, you gotta
very high probability sense.
But you gotta stay positive and focus on the plus side, right?
Just keep working towards that win condition you got in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
While NewBee, all you gotta do is just not screw up.
It really is that simple, actually. They have so many choices right now. They could just wait and farm, get the next Roche, try to siege right now, they can just spread the entire map and farm both jungles. You look at the position of Archon's heroes and you just know what state the game is in. They're completely cornered. The entire periphery of their base is covered in dire wards. Any single move they make will be spotted. The only way they get outside their base and find a pick is with a smoke, or if they start picking up shadow blades or something like that on their Bad Rider. Pretty cornered. This is a bad situation to be in.
It is. Everything. These 3 perfect wards. Top lane, mid lane, and bot lane. Anywhere Archon want to try and go out, they get spotted. Now, he's on the patrol. He won't be able to reach up to the Spectre, but just by intercepting the creep waves halfway up, you go all the way up through the lane. Creep waves pressured in, Archon always have to reveal themselves, so there's no surprises coming to Newbee. They just keep farming up Ancients. They can do that easily with both of their heroes, both the Tiny as well as the Sven. They've almost got enough money where they can have buybacks on all 5 of their heroes.
The most important one is the IO, just very far away.
You can actually relocate in a respawn hero.
Because it's like, IO is the most likely kill for Archon at this point. And it's also the highest value kill relative to how much damage they need to deal to kill it. If you try to kill the Sven first, it's very difficult. They could try for it, it's not possible actually. They could layer everything onto this Sven, and he will not drop below 1/3 health with overcharge.
This bottom lane maneuver from Monkeys just tells you the thought process right now of Archon. They saw the Observer Ward, and he waited until he had support to come out to de-ward it. And that's an Observer Ward which is sitting on the low ground of that bottom lane.
And then they smoke. This is good.
Yeah.
This is the only play they have. And if they fail this, they call GG.
At the same time, Newbee just 5-man smoked. They read this, the Observer Ward was taken. They're going to wrap around the back of Archon, and we're expecting Newbee to be kind of... And they're just done Enchantress, 3 hits, the Curse of the Dark, the Iron still burns it out, and holy crap, that Lion had no check. 5, and Whitebeard is just like trapped. Tombstone down, expecting some kind of Roshan play. 4-staff up, he's actually away from the Courier, which keeps looking at him, just taunting him up there. The Courier of the taunt, that's exactly what will be happening right now. And Newbee don't even care that he's up there. Ben actually cleaves him off Roshan. Kill him on the high ground. The Tombstone's gone, and I think the hope of Archon's gone with it. This is an Aegis and a Cheese going the way of Newbee.
Yeah. I'm not sure what Archon are holding on to here. At this point, it's like formality, finishing this game off, and maybe they just have this mentality in the team that they never call GG until the throne falls or something like that. That they have, they play to the end. But...
Believe in the Spectre. Believe in the Spectre. What's he picked up? He's picked up a salve. That's not a game-changing item. Gonna heal up and run in, having a green glow. At least they will like dodge out that Stormbolt. What have you got? You got a Blink Glass suit, you're gonna drive back the Sven, but the relocate save's already gonna happen. A short range pull, and with the Death Water bound to so much damage, in combination with the Malediction, the Bad Rider's already down. That mid-rack is just being disintegrated by Newbee. The bottom lane's gonna follow in the same suit. And Whitebeard, he's throwing everything he's got right now. Push down the Tombstone. And just try and fight. At least Moo's gonna miss the avalanche. Quick tech coming in from Fluff. Then he falls. The Ghost Scepter did come a little bit earlier from Moo. But then Moo just tossed Moo back over into the fight on top of Whitebeard. And really, this game is over. The bottom rank is toast. Archon's just getting cleaved up. And there is way too much damage. They cannot repel Newbee anymore. Game number 1 will go the way of Newbee as Archon stare down the barrel of a complete whitewash against them here in their group stage.
I think I want to give props to Archon for actually just trying their best to play to their strengths with their picks and just to pressure as much early game as possible, but I was a much bigger fan of Newbee's draft overall in this, unless if Archon could have stomped the first 10 minutes, and they didn't really manage to. It was an even early game, and then this game starts becoming very one-dimensional very quickly, what their lineup was tailored. So